Penny was tired. Not just the kind of tired where you need a short nap, but the kind where you put the milk in the cupboard and the cereal in the fridge. Being a single mom to 3-year-old Mia was the absolute best thing in her life, but it was also a massive amount of work. To keep Mia busy while she tried to drink her cold, day-old coffee, Penny handed her daughter a box of crayons and a stack of junk mail. "Draw Mommy a pretty picture, sweetie," Penny said, resting her heavy head on the cool kitchen table. "Mia giboldeppili, grabbing a bright purple crayon." She started scribbling on the back of an old water bill. Penny closed her heavy eyes for just 1 second, hoping for a tiny bit of peace. Thump! Penny's eyes snapped open. Sitting right in the middle of the table, directly on top of the mail, was a purple apple. It was lopsided and had a green stem floating slightly to the left of it, exactly how Mia had drawn it on the paper. Penny blinked a few times, rubbed her eyes, and slowly poked the apple with her finger. It was solid. It felt like a real apple, but it smelled exactly like cheap grape candy. "Mia," Penny whispered, her heart beating fast in her chest. "Did you make this?" "Purple apple." Mia cheered, clapping her little hands. Penny stared at her sweet daughter. Then she stared at the purple crayon. "Okay, let's try that again. Draw a cup." Mia happily grabbed a blue crayon and drew a wobbly square with a silly handle. A single second later, a loud clink echoed in the quiet kitchen. A blue, uneven mug sat right next to the purple apple. It was missing a bottom, so it would not hold any coffee at all, but it was completely real. Penny panicked. Her toddler had magic hands. This was bad. What if she drew a fire? What if she drew a scary monster? Penny scrambled to grab the crayon box, but Mia was much faster. She had found a winter clothing catalog Penny had left on the nearby chair. "Daddy!" Mia yelled with joy. Penny froze in fear. "What?" "No, baby, we don't have a..." Mia was busy coloring right over a picture of a male model, wearing a cozy winter sweater. He had messy brown hair, a warm smile and big shoulders. Mia quickly added a bright green hat and a yellow dog right next to him. Done. Mia slapped the paper hard. Before Penny could grab the shiny catalog, a bright flash of light filled the room. A loud crash followed. Penny fell back, knocking her chair over onto the floor. When she opened her eyes, she gasped out loud. There was a very real, very solid man sitting on her kitchen floor. He was the exact same man from the catalog, wearing the same cozy winter sweater. He was holding a half-eaten bagel in one hand and a smashed cell phone in the other. He blinked, shaking his head. He looked around the messy kitchen, completely shocked. "Where am I?" he asked, rubbing his head and opening his eyes wide. "I was just in a coffee shop in New York. And why am I wearing this weird green hat?" Chapter 1. Penny stared at the man sitting on her kitchen floor. He was real. He was breathing. He was also holding a plain bagel with cream cheese. I can explain," Penny stammered, though she really had no idea how to explain anything. Leo slowly stood up. He was very tall, which made Penny's tiny kitchen feel even smaller. He looked down at the bright green hat sitting on his head. He reached up to pull it off, but his hand made a loud crinkling noise. "Why does this hat feel like paper?" Leo asked, pulling it off and staring at it. It was completely flat on one side, colored with waxy green crayon. "And why do I smell grape candy?" Penny pointed a shaking finger at the purple apple on the table. "That would be the apple." Mia drew it. Leo looked from the flat paper hat in his hand, to the solid purple apple, and then to the 3-year-old girl sitting at the table. Mia smiled and waved a blue crayon at him. Bye. Mia chirped. Leo let out a nervous laugh. "Okay. Very funny. Is this a joke show? Are the cameras behind the fridge?" He started looking around the corners of the kitchen. "I was just in New York. I was waiting for my coffee. How did I get here?" "You are in Ohio," Penny said softly. Leo froze. "Ohio? I cannot be in Ohio. I have a photo shoot in Brooklyn in 2 hours." Penny grabbed the clothing catalog from the table and held it up. She pointed to the picture of Leo in the winter sweater, which was now covered in wild scribbles. "My daughter has special hands. Since this morning, whatever she draws becomes real. She drew over your picture. I think she accidentally stole you." Leo stared at the catalog. Then he looked at Penny like she was completely crazy. "Magic? You want me to believe a toddler used magic to pull me across the country? Look, lady, I don't know how I got here, but I am going to call a cab." He held up his cell phone, but the screen was shattered into 100 pieces from when he fell onto the floor. It was completely dead. Leo sighed and reached into his back pocket. His face went pale. He patted his front pockets. "My wallet," Leo said, his voice sounding panicked. "It was in my heavy coat. My coat is still at the coffee shop." Before Penny could offer to let him use her phone, a strange noise interrupted them. Arf. The sound did not come from a real dog. It sounded exactly like a tiny human trying to make a dog noise. Leo and Penny looked down. Standing by the stove was a bright yellow dog. It had a big smile, huge eyes, and only 3 legs. "Puppy," Mia cheered. The yellow dog wagged its tail so hard that it lost its balance. It tried to run toward Mia, but because it was missing a front leg, it slipped on the kitchen floor and ran face first into the wall with a soft thud. It shook its head, sat down, and panted happily. Leo stared at the 3-legged dog. He reached out and touched its bright yellow fur. His hand came back with a smudge of yellow crayon on his fingers. He slowly stood back up and looked at Penny. His warm brown eyes were wide with shock. "Okay," Leo whispered, running a hand through his messy hair. "So, I am in Ohio. The yellow dog is real. And I have no money and no phone." Penny bit her lip. She felt terrible. This poor man was ripped away from his fancy life because her toddler wanted a dad. "I am so sorry," she said. "You can use my phone to call someone. And you can stay here until we figure this out." Leo looked around the messy kitchen, then down at the yellow dog chewing on a dropped piece of cereal. Finally, he looked at Penny and gave her a small, kind smile. "Well," Leo said, taking a bite of his bagel, "at least I got to keep my breakfast." Chapter 2. Penny sighed as she opened her fridge. It was almost empty. Leo was a tall, solid man, and one plain bagel was not going to be enough food for him. "We need to go to the grocery store," Penny said. Penny tied her messy hair up using a soft crochet scrunchie she had made out of bright yay wool. She put a cute, handmade crochet bucket hat on Mia's head. Leo agreed to go, borrowing a pair of Penny's big sunglasses to hide his famous face from anyone who might know him. At the store, Penny pushed the cart down the aisles. She was so busy looking at Leo's nice smile and listening to his funny stories about his modeling jobs that she made a huge mistake. She forgot to hide the pens. While Penny and Leo were picking out fresh apples, Mia reached into Penny's open purse. She pulled out a blue ink pen and a very long, old receipt. Mia giggled quietly and started to draw. She drew a big green dinosaur with sharp bumps all down its back. Roar. A loud noise that sounded like a truck horn filled the store. Penny spun around. Sitting right in the middle of the fresh food aisle was a giant, green, bumpy dinosaur. It was the size of a shopping cart, and it smelled strongly of blue ink. People in the store stopped and pointed. The dinosaur did not care. It waddled on its short legs right over to the bakery section, and shoved a whole loaf of fresh bread into its giant mouth. "Oh no," Penny gasped, hiding her face in her hands. Leo did not panic. He jumped right into action. He ran over to the bakery and grabbed the heavy dinosaur by its bumpy middle. He pulled and pushed, trying to wrestle the hungry beast away from the sweet cakes and pies. "It is okay, everyone," Penny yelled to the scared shoppers, trying to smile. "It is just a man in a very good, very real costume. Just a silly stunt." Leo pushed the dinosaur hard. He was strong, and he looked very brave fighting a magic monster. Penny felt a sudden, warm flutter in her chest just watching him. Finally, Leo pushed the dinosaur out the back doors of the store. As soon as it hit the hot sun outside, it melted into a flat puddle of green ink on the pavement. Leo walked back to Penny. He was breathing hard and his cozy winter sweater was covered in green smudges, but he was grinning from ear to ear. "Well," Leo said, wiping his face, "that was way more exciting than standing still for photos." Penny laughed. It was a real deep laugh. For the first time in a long time, she was having a lot of fun. Chapter 3. When they got back to the house, the yellow dog was gone. It had slowly faded away like a dream, leaving behind just a tiny smudge of yellow crayon on the kitchen floor. Mia was very sad. She stood in the middle of Penny's soft pink and cream-colored living room with a big pout on her face. "It is okay, sweetie," Penny said softly, rubbing Mia's back. "The magic just got tired." But Mia had a plan. She ran to her little play table, grabbed a sage green marker, and started drawing as fast as she could on a fresh piece of paper. Before Penny could even reach out to take the marker away, a loud meow echoed in the quiet room. Sitting on the soft rug was a cat. It was bright sage green, exactly like the marker ink. It had eyes the size of tennis balls. And because Mia was in a hurry, she had drawn too many lines. The cat had 5 legs. The strange cat looked around with its giant eyes. Then, using its extra leg for a huge boost, it jumped straight up into the air and stuck its claws right into the nice living room curtains. "Oh my goodness," Penny said, staring at the green cat hanging from the fabric. Leo laughed out loud. He walked over and gently reached up to grab the cat. But the cat was fast. It let go of the curtain, bounced right off Leo's head, and zoomed across the room like a fuzzy green rocket. "Get it?" Leo yelled, smiling a massive smile. For the next hour, Penny and Leo chased the strange cat all over the house. It ran under the sofa, jumped onto the counters, and knocked over a pile of junk mail. It was incredibly fast, mostly because that 5th leg gave it a lot of speed. Finally, the cat tried to jump onto the highest bookshelf but missed. Penny ran to catch it, and Leo ran to catch it at the exact same time. They bumped into each other hard and fell onto the soft rug in a messy pile of arms and legs. The green cat landed safely right on Leo's chest, purring a very loud, rumbling purr. Penny was completely out of breath. She looked up and realized she was lying right next to Leo. Their faces were very close. His messy brown hair was falling over his eyes, and his warm smile made her heart do a silly flip in her chest. "You know," Leo whispered, breathing heavily as he gently petted the 5-legged cat, "this crazy house is way more fun than sitting still in boring makeup chairs all day." Penny felt her face get very hot. She smiled back at him, hoping this green cat would not fade away too soon. Chapter 4. Penny was just about to stand up from the soft rug when a sharp knock sounded at the front door. Penny froze. She looked down at the green, 5-legged cat still purring loudly on Leo's chest. "Hide the cat," she whispered in a total panic. Leo quickly grabbed the green cat and rolled behind the large sofa, just as Penny pulled the front door open. Standing on the porch was Mrs. Gable, Penny's extremely nosy neighbor. Mrs. Gable loved to know everything about everyone on their street. She immediately stretched her neck to peek right past Penny and look inside the house. "Hello, Penny," Mrs. Gable said with a sneaky smile. "I heard a whole lot of running and thumping over here. Is everything okay?" "Everything is perfectly fine," Penny said quickly, stepping right into the middle of the doorway to block the view. "We are just playing a silly game." Just then Leo stood up from behind the sofa. He had left the cat safely hidden, but he forgot to check his hair. It was a messy, handsome disaster, and his cozy winter sweater was still rumpled from their fall on the rug. Mrs. Gable's eyes went completely round. She stared at the tall, gorgeous man standing in Penny's living room. "Oh my goodness," she gasped. "Penny, who in the world is this?" Penny's brain completely stopped working. She could not exactly say he was a magic paper model stolen from a winter catalog. She panicked. This is my new boyfriend." Leo did not even blink. He smiled his famous, perfect smile and walked right over to Penny. He smoothly slipped his warm arm around her waist and pulled her gently against his side. "Hello," Leo said in his deep, warm voice. "I am Leo. It is so nice to finally meet Penny's neighbors. She talks about you all the time." Mrs. Gable looked like she might faint from excitement. "A boyfriend? Well, he is very handsome, Penny. You kept him a secret." "I really did," Penny squeaked, her face turning bright red like a tomato. Leo's arm felt very nice around her waist, and he smelled like clean soap and rain. After asking 5 more nosy questions, Mrs. Gable finally waved goodbye and walked as fast as she could back to her house to tell the rest of the street the big news. Penny shut the door and leaned her back against the cool wood. She was still blushing hard. Leo did not move his arm away. He looked down at her, his warm brown eyes shining with fun. "So," Leo whispered softly, leaning his face just a tiny bit closer to hers, "I am your new boyfriend?" "It was the only thing I could think of," Penny whispered back. Her heart was beating as fast as the green cat running across the room. Leo leaned in even closer. Penny slowly closed her eyes. They were really going to kiss. Smack. Leo jerked his head back with a loud yelp. A bright blue, slightly chubby bird fluttered down from his face and landed on the floor. Mia was sitting happily at her play table, holding a blue marker and giggling. Leo rubbed his nose, looking down at the wobbly blue bird flapping on the floor. He started to laugh, a big, chest-deep sound, and Penny laughed right along with him. The perfect kiss was ruined. But Penny knew she was falling in love anyway. Chapter 5. After the chubby blue bird safely faded away into a smudge of ink on the floor, things in the house finally quieted down. But Penny knew they still had a big problem. Leo did not belong in her tiny house. He belonged on glossy magazine pages in a big city. "I need to call my agent," Leo said, looking sadly at his smashed phone on the kitchen counter. "He can send me some money for a plane ticket home." Penny felt a sharp pinch of sadness in her chest, but she forced a smile and handed him her phone. She walked into the living room to build block towers with Mia, so Leo could have some quiet time to talk. When Leo walked back into the room a few minutes later, he looked very guilty. He rubbed the back of his neck, making his messy brown hair stick up even more. "Well," Leo said with a heavy sigh, "my agent was very happy to hear I am not kidnapped. But he said the bank is very slow. It will take 3 whole days for the money to clear so I can buy a ticket." 3 days? Penny asked. She tried to sound worried, but honestly, she was secretly thrilled. "I am so sorry, Penny," Leo said, looking down at his big shoes. "I know I am just crashing in your house. You are feeding me, and I brought a giant green dinosaur into your grocery store. I want to earn my keep while I am stuck here." "You do not have to do that," Penny said quickly. "You are our guest." "I insist," Leo said with a firm nod. He rolled up the sleeves of his cozy winter sweater, showing off his strong arms. "Point me to something that is broken." Penny pointed to the kitchen sink. It had been dripping a steady, annoying drip 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 for 2 entire months, and she never had the extra money to call someone to fix it. Leo grinned. He opened the cabinet under the sink and squeezed his tall body halfway inside. For the next hour, Penny sat at the table and watched him work. He asked for a few simple tools, hummed a happy little tune, and did not complain once when dirty water splashed onto his cheek. When he finally pulled himself out from under the sink, he wiped his hands on a kitchen towel and turned on the water. It ran perfectly, and when he turned it off, there was no drip. Complete silence. Penny was completely amazed. "You fixed it. I thought guys who get paid to look pretty did not know how to use a wrench." Leo laughed, wiping a smudge of dirt off his nice nose. "I was a normal guy for a long time before I became a model. I actually really like fixing things." He looked right at her, his warm brown eyes totally focused on her face. Penny blushed for the second time that day. She realized that Leo was not just a pretty face in a catalog. He was kind, he was handy, and he was quickly making her messy little life feel a whole lot better. Chapter 6. The next morning, Penny had an idea. If cheap junk mail and waxy toddler crayons made giant dinosaurs and 5-legged cats, maybe really nice art supplies would make the magic a little safer. "We are going to the art store," Penny announced, pouring Leo a cup of hot coffee. Leo smiled, looking very cozy sitting at her kitchen table. "I am ready. I will protect you from any magical office supplies." They drove to the biggest art store in town. It was a beautiful, quiet place. The aisles were filled with neat stacks of soft blush pink paper, rows of smooth cream-colored canvases, and little jars of paint that seemed to catch the light with a whimsical sparkle. Penny felt relaxed just looking at all the pretty, calming colors. To keep Mia happy while they shopped for safer pens, Leo handed her a small test pad and a few nice, expensive markers. "Just small drawings, okay, sweetie?" Penny whispered. Mia nodded, but her eyes were glowing with mischief. While Penny was looking closely at a row of paintbrushes, Mia started to quickly draw on her test pad. She drew a tall, wobbly black square. A second later, a man standing 2 aisles over let out a very confused noise. Penny and Leo peeked around the shelf. The man was suddenly wearing a very tall, wobbly black top hat made of marker ink. It sat right on top of his bald head. Before Penny could grab the pad, Mia drew a big purple triangle. Across the store, the nice lady working at the cash register suddenly had a giant, lopsided purple party hat sitting on her hair. She did not seem to notice, but the customer she was helping looked completely terrified. Leo clapped his hand over his mouth to stop himself from laughing out loud. He gently took the test pad away from Mia. "Okay, little artist, let's stop before we give the whole store a silly makeover." Penny was laughing too, but she was also trying to walk fast to get out of the paper aisle before anyone figured out what was happening. She was looking back at the cashier's purple hat and did not watch her feet. Mia had dropped one last drawing on the floor. It was a pile of messy, square toy blocks. Penny stepped right onto the magic blocks. Her foot rolled, and she started to fall backward. "I got you," Leo said smoothly. His large, warm hand shot out and grabbed hers. He pulled her forward, easily saving her from a bad fall. Penny caught her balance, bumping gently against his chest. She looked up, expecting him to let go. But he did not let go. Leo kept his hand firmly wrapped around hers. His thumb slowly rubbed across her knuckles. The loud, busy world of the art store seemed to completely fade away. He was looking down at her, not making a joke, not laughing, just staring at her with incredibly soft brown eyes. "Thank you," Penny whispered, her heart beating so loud she was sure he could hear it. "You are very welcome," Leo whispered back. They stood there in the quiet aisle, holding hands. It was their very first real romantic moment, without a crazy magic animal interrupting them. Penny squeezed his hand, feeling a deep, heavy sadness wash over her happy heart. She was falling for him, fast and hard, and she really started to wish he did not have to go back to his fancy, famous life in New York. Chapter 7. The next morning, the sky outside was dark and gray. Heavy rain poured down, hitting the windows with a loud splashing sound. They were stuck inside the house. Mia was very bored. She did not want to play with her blocks and she did not want to watch cartoons. She grabbed her new, safe art supplies and sat on the soft cream rug in the living room. "What are you drawing, sweetie?" Penny asked, sipping her hot coffee. Mia picked up a bright yellow marker and drew a huge, round circle with wavy lines pointing out of it. Then she took a tan crayon and colored a big, messy hill at the bottom of the page. Before Penny could even blink, a burst of warm light filled the room. Floating right below the living room ceiling was a glowing yellow sun. It looked exactly like a child's drawing, but it was giving off real, lovely heat. Below the sun, sitting right on top of Penny's nice rug, was a giant pile of soft, warm sand. "Beach," Mia cheered, jumping into the sand pile with both feet. Penny groaned, thinking about the mess, but Leo just laughed. He walked over to the kitchen counter, grabbed his dark sunglasses from the grocery trip, and put them on. Then he grabbed the stack of boring junk mail. "If we are at the beach," Leo said with a massive smile, "we need boats." For the next 2 hours, the living room turned into a sunny summer vacation. Leo sat in the sand with Mia, folding old bills and pizza menus into little paper boats. They pretended the blue rug was the ocean and sailed the boats around the magic island. Penny laid out a big, soft pink blanket next to the sand and sat down to watch them. The magic sun felt wonderful on her skin, completely chasing away the rainy day gloom. Eventually, all that playing made Mia tired. She curled up on the edge of the blanket and fell fast asleep. Leo carefully stood up, brushing the magic sand off his cozy winter sweater, and sat down on the blanket next to Penny. He pulled off his sunglasses. The bright, silly mood in the room slowly shifted into something quiet and serious. "You are very good with her," Penny said softly, looking at Mia's sleeping face. Leo smiled, looking down at his hands. "I had a lot of fun today. More fun than I have had in a very long time." "Do you not have fun in New York?" Penny asked. "You get to travel the world and take pictures. It seems like an amazing life." Leo sighed, a heavy, sad sound. "It looks amazing in the pictures. But most of the time, it is just me sitting alone in a hotel room, or flying alone on a plane, or going home to a perfectly clean, perfectly empty apartment. It is quiet. Too quiet." He turned to look at Penny. His brown eyes were wide and honest. "I love your loud, messy home, Penny. I love the magic dinosaurs and the silly cats. I love being here with you." Penny felt a lump form in her throat. She wanted to tell him to stay. She wanted to tell him that he never had to go back to an empty apartment ever again. But as she looked up, the magic yellow sun on the ceiling blinked. It was starting to turn clear, just like the purple apple had. Mia was asleep, so the magic was fading. Penny looked back at Leo. The sadness in her chest grew heavier. The magic sun was fading, and tomorrow Leo's plane ticket money would arrive. He was fading from her life, too, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. Chapter 8. The next morning, the magic sand was completely gone, leaving the cream rug just as clean as before. But the warm, happy feeling in the house had vanished with it. Leo's agent called right after breakfast. The money had finally cleared at the bank. His agent bought him a plane ticket for the very next morning because he had a big, important photo shoot in a fancy studio. When Leo told Penny the news, the whole house got very quiet and sad. "Tomorrow morning," Penny repeated, staring at her cold coffee. "Wow. That was fast. Yeah, Leo said. He was leaning against the kitchen counter, rubbing his hands together. He did not look like a famous model going back to his glamorous life. He looked like a very sad man who had just lost his best friend. My flight is at 8. Well, that is great news, Penny said. She forced the biggest, most fake smile she could make onto her face. You get to go back to your real job. I am sure everyone in New York misses you. I guess, Leo mumbled, looking down at his shoes. The rest of the day felt incredibly heavy. They tried to play with Mia and her safe markers, but neither of them really wanted to laugh. Mia drew a few colorful balloons that floated up to the ceiling, but even the bright colors could not cheer them up. Penny decided to make a big special dinner for Leo's last night. She used the grocery store food to cook a huge pot of spaghetti, which was Mia's favorite. They sat around the small kitchen table. The purple magic apple was long gone, and the space felt much too empty. Leo ate 2 big bowls of food, telling Penny it was the best meal he had eaten in years. He complimented her cooking, but his warm brown eyes were sad. After dinner, Leo helped Penny wash the dishes. They stood next to each other by the sink, passing plates back and forth. Their hands brushed together under the warm water. Penny felt a little shock of electricity travel up her arm, but she pulled her hand away quickly. She could not let herself get any closer to him. If she kissed him or held his hand again, letting him go tomorrow would hurt too much. Penny, Leo said softly, putting down a wet plate. He turned to face her. I want to say thank you for letting me crash here, for not calling the police when I showed up on your floor. This week, it changed everything for me. Penny swallowed the huge lump in her throat. She looked up at his handsome face and tried to hold back her tears. You are welcome, Leo. You are always welcome here. He looked like he wanted to say something else, something very important. He leaned closer, but Penny quickly turned around and grabbed a dry towel. She told him good night and rushed to her bedroom, shutting the door tight so he would not hear her cry. Chapter 9. Later that night, Penny wiped her eyes and walked out of her bedroom to check on Mia. But when she looked in Mia's bed, it was completely empty. Penny's heart jumped. She hurried down the hall and heard a strange, squishy sound coming from the kitchen. When she turned the corner, she gasped. Mia was sitting on the floor, holding a giant piece of paper. She had found a pile of old, broken red and black crayons and scribbled a huge, dark, messy circle. Sitting right in the middle of the kitchen floor was a giant blob of sticky red and black goo. It was the size of a washing machine. It smelled strongly of old wax, and it was slowly sliding across the floor, leaving a thick, sticky trail behind it. Mia, run! Penny yelled, grabbing her daughter and pulling her back. The sticky monster let out a wet gurgle sound and reached out a long, gooey arm toward the fridge. Suddenly, Leo ran into the room. He took one look at the giant blob and did not run away. A normal model might have worried about ruining his nice face or getting his hands dirty, but Leo did not care at all. He jumped right in front of Penny and Mia to protect them. What is that thing? Leo yelled, pushing the blob's sticky arm away from the fridge. His cozy winter sweater instantly got covered in dark red slime. It is a crayon monster. Penny yelled back. It is made of wax. Leo looked at the sink he had fixed earlier. Wax and ink hate soap. Penny, get the dish soap. Penny grabbed the green bottle of dish soap. Leo grabbed a big plastic bucket from under the sink and quickly filled it with warm water. Penny squeezed a huge amount of soap into the bucket until bubbles spilled over the top. The sticky monster was growing taller, trying to reach the ceiling. 1, 2, 3. Leo shouted. He lifted the heavy bucket and threw the warm, soapy water right onto the center of the monster. The monster hissed. As soon as the soapy water hit it, the giant blob started to melt. It shrunk down into a puddle of harmless red and black colored water on the kitchen floor. Leo dropped the bucket. He was completely soaked. His hair was flat and wet, his face was covered in soapy bubbles, and his nice clothes were ruined. Penny looked down at herself and realized she was also covered in warm, soapy water. They stood there in the quiet kitchen, staring at the messy puddle and then at each other. Penny let out a tiny giggle. Then Leo smiled. The smile grew into a loud, chest-deep laugh. Soon, they were both laughing so hard that their stomachs hurt. The heavy, sad feeling from dinner was completely gone, washed away with the soap and the crayon monster. Leo wiped a bubble off his nose and looked at Penny. We make a pretty great team, do we not? Penny smiled, looking right into his warm brown eyes. Yes, we really do. Chapter 10. The sun came up way too early the next morning. Penny packed Leo's very few things into a plastic grocery bag because he did not have a real suitcase. He had washed his cozy winter sweater in the sink, but it still had a tiny pink stain on the sleeve from the magic crayon monster. He put it on anyway. The drive to the airport was incredibly quiet. Mia was fast asleep in her car seat in the back. Penny held the steering wheel so tightly her hands hurt, trying very hard not to look at Leo sitting next to her. When they finally pulled up to the busy airport drop-off lane, Penny put the car in park. This was it. Leo opened his door, but before he stepped out, he reached into the back and gently patted Mia's little shoe. "Goodbye, little artist," he whispered softly. Then he turned to Penny. The loud noises of the airport cars and buses seemed to fade away. They just looked at each other for a long, heavy moment. It felt very awkward, but it also felt very important. "Thank you, Penny," Leo said, his voice thick with sad feelings. "I really mean it. This was the best week of my life. You and Mia, you showed me what a real home feels like." "You are welcome," Penny managed to say. Her voice was shaking, and her eyes were burning. "Have a safe flight, Leo." He leaned in, and for one tiny second, Penny thought he was going to finally kiss her. But a loud car horn honked right behind them, breaking the spell. Leo pulled back, grabbed his plastic grocery bag, and gave her one last, sad smile before shutting the car door. Penny watched him walk into the big glass building. He looked so tall and handsome, even carrying his things in a plastic bag. As soon as he was totally out of sight, Penny put the car in drive and pulled away from the curb. The tears started falling down her cheeks before she even reached the highway. She cried the entire way home. She told herself it was silly to cry. He was a famous model from a magazine, and she was just a tired single mom with a magic toddler. He belonged in a bright, shiny city, and she belonged in her normal, messy house. But telling herself all of those true things did not make her broken heart stop hurting. Chapter 11. Leo sat in his small airplane seat. The plane was packed with busy people reading newspapers and drinking bad coffee. No one noticed the famous model sitting in the back row holding a plastic grocery bag. Leo felt completely empty inside. He looked out the small oval window, but he was not looking at the airplanes outside. He was thinking about Penny's warm smile and Mia's silly giggles. He was going back to New York to stand in front of bright lights and pretend to be happy for cameras. But he knew the truth now. He was not going to be pretending anymore. He was just going to be miserable. He sighed and shoved his hands into the pockets of his cozy winter sweater. His right hand brushed against a small, crinkled piece of paper. Leo pulled it out. It was a folded piece of white paper from Mia's safe art pad. He opened it carefully. It was a drawing done in bright, messy markers. There were 3 stick figures. One was a very tall man wearing a green, wobbly hat. Next to him was a lady with pretty hair. Between them was a tiny little girl. All 3 of them were holding hands under a big, yellow, crooked sun. Leo stared at the picture. His heart started to beat very fast. The magic did not make the drawing jump off the page this time, but it did something even better. It made Leo wake up. He realized right then that a fancy life in a big city meant absolutely nothing if he was lonely. He did not want a clean, quiet apartment. He wanted magic dinosaurs, crayon monsters, and a kitchen that smelled like cheap grape candy. Most of all, he wanted Penny. "Attention passengers," the pilot's voice called over the speaker. "We are about to close the cabin doors for takeoff. Please sit down." Leo's eyes went wide. He grabbed his plastic grocery bag and jumped right out of his seat. "Excuse me," Leo said, squeezing past a grumpy man in a suit. I have to go." He ran down the narrow airplane aisle as fast as his long legs could move. The flight attendant was just reaching out to pull the heavy door shut. "Wait," Leo yelled, waving his plastic bag in the air. "I need to get off." The flight attendant jumped back in surprise. Leo squeezed through the door right before it clicked shut, completely ignoring the confused looks from the airport workers. He ran back into the loud, busy airport with a massive smile on his face. He was not flying to New York today. He was going home. Chapter 12. Penny was sitting at her quiet kitchen table. The house felt too big and too empty. She was holding the old winter clothing catalog, staring sadly at the picture of Leo. It was covered in Mia's wild, messy scribbles, but underneath the marker lines, she could still see his warm smile. She wiped a fresh tear away from her cheek and sniffled. "Okay, Penny," she whispered to herself. "Time to be a brave mom." No more crying over magic paper men. Suddenly, there was a loud, fast knock at the front door. Penny jumped. She wiped her eyes quickly and walked down the hall. She thought it was probably Mrs. Gable, the nosy neighbor, coming to ask where the handsome boyfriend went. Penny practiced her best fake smile and pulled the heavy wooden door open. Her breath caught in her throat. Standing right there on her front porch, completely out of breath and holding a plastic grocery bag, was Leo. His messy brown hair was blowing in the wind, and his cozy winter sweater still had the tiny pink stain on the sleeve. Penny just stared at him. Her brain forgot how to use words. You are supposed to be on an airplane. I got off, Leo said, breathing heavily. I ran all the way to the taxi stand. I told the driver to go as fast as he could. But your big photo shoot, Penny stammered, stepping back so he could walk inside. Your real life in New York. Leo dropped his plastic bag on the floor. He stepped right up to Penny, looking deep into her wide, shocked eyes. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the folded, crinkled drawing Mia had made. He gently pressed it into Penny's hand. My real life is right here, Leo said, his deep voice sounding very sure and steady. I do not want to sit in a quiet, lonely apartment ever again. I want to wake up with you. I want to chase magic cats and fight crayon monsters. I am not quitting my job, Penny. I will still go take pictures. But I want this house with you and Mia to be my home base. I will fly back here to you after every single job. Penny looked down at the drawing of the three of them holding hands under the yellow sun. Then she looked back up at Leo. A huge joyful smile broke across her face, and happy tears filled her eyes. Are you sure? Penny asked softly. It is very messy here. I have never been more sure of anything, Leo whispered. I love the mess. And I love you. He reached out and gently held her face in his big, warm hands. This time, there were no nosy neighbors knocking, and no chubby bluebirds flying into his face to ruin the moment. He leaned down and kissed her properly. It was perfect, sweet, and completely real. Just then, Mia walked out of her bedroom rubbing her sleepy eyes. She saw Leo, and a giant smile lit up her little face. Daddy, Mia cheered, running over to hug his legs. Leo broke the kiss and scooped the little girl up into his arms, laughing his big, loud laugh. Penny wrapped her arms around them both, knowing her messy little family was finally complete. Epilogue. 1 whole year later, Penny stood in the back of a bright, busy photo studio. She was smiling so much her cheeks hurt. She looked down at her left hand. A shiny gold wedding ring sat perfectly on her finger. Leo was standing under the bright lights, wearing a very nice suit. He gave the camera his famous, perfect smile. Click, click, click went the heavy camera. Things had worked out exactly how Leo promised. He did not quit modeling, but his agent learned a very big lesson. Now Leo only took jobs that kept him close to home, or he brought Penny and Mia along with him on the trip. He never went back to his quiet, empty apartment in New York again. Okay Leo, give me one more big smile, the photographer yelled, pointing his camera. Penny looked down at her feet. Sitting on a soft blanket, Mia was happily humming a song. She was 4 years old now, and she was holding a blue marker. Penny had learned to keep all the crayons and pens on a very high shelf at home. But sometimes, like today, a marker slipped out of her purse by accident. Mia finished her drawing and clapped her hands. Blue horsey with a long neck, she cheered. Penny's eyes went wide. Oh no! Pop! A tiny, bright blue giraffe appeared right in the middle of the smooth studio floor. It was only the size of a small dog, with wobbly legs and a very long, crooked neck. It blinked its big eyes, let out a soft little squeak, and trotted right over to the photographer. The photographer did not see it at all. He was too busy looking through his camera lens. Perfect, Leo. Keep holding that pose. The little blue giraffe stretched its long neck out and began to happily chew on the bright red shoelaces of the photographer's shoe. Leo saw the whole thing from under the bright lights. He looked at the tiny blue giraffe, then looked right past the cameras to Penny. His famous, perfect model face broke into a huge, real laugh. Penny covered her mouth, trying not to laugh out loud, while Mia waved happily at her new blue friend. It was messy. It was silly. But looking at her handsome husband and her magic daughter, Penny knew her life was absolutely picture perfect. Special episode. Penny wiped a drop of sweat from her forehead. It was a very warm Saturday, and the backyard was full of running, screaming, happy children. Today was Mia's 4th birthday party. Everything was going perfectly. Leo was standing by the grill wearing an apron that said "Kiss the Cook" over a plain white t-shirt. He was using a pair of metal tongs to flip hot dogs, smiling his perfect smile at all the parents who had come to the party. Penny had been very careful. For 2 whole weeks, she had checked every single bag, purse, and pocket in the house. There were no pens, no crayons, and absolutely no markers allowed outside. She wanted Mia to have a normal, magic-free birthday party with 0 giant dinosaurs or 5-legged cats. "Hot dogs are ready," Leo called out, his deep voice carrying over the music. Penny smiled and walked over to him. He wrapped one strong arm around her waist and kissed her cheek. "You are doing a great job, Mom," he whispered. "No magic disasters at all." "I know," Penny said proudly. "I am a genius." Just then Mrs. Gable, the nosy neighbor, walked through the back gate. She was holding a very large, wrapped gift. "Happy birthday, Mia." Mrs. Gable cheered. She handed the heavy box right to the birthday girl. Before Penny could step in, Mia ripped the paper off. Penny's heart completely stopped. It was a giant box of thick, sparkly sidewalk chalk. "Oh no," Penny gasped. "Chalk!" Mia yelled with joy. Penny ran toward her, but Mia was already sitting on the concrete patio. She grabbed a huge stick of bright pink chalk and began to draw as fast as her little hands could move. She drew a big circle for thick legs, big floppy ears, and a long curly nose. Poof! A cloud of pink, sparkly dust filled the air. When the dust cleared, the kids let out a loud gasp. Sitting right in the middle of the patio was a baby elephant. It was entirely bright pink. It had big, goofy eyes and a very long, swinging trunk. Mrs. Gable dropped her paper plate. "My goodness! Did you rent a real elephant for a backyard party?" Leo rushed over to Penny's side, holding his cooking tongs. He looked at the pink elephant, then looked at the excited children. He did not panic. He just smiled his famous, charming smile. "Yes, we did." Leo lied perfectly. "It is a special, trained party elephant. But do not worry, it is very safe." The kids cheered and ran toward the elephant. The pink animal let out a happy, squeaky trumpet sound. It dipped its trunk into the plastic baby pool Penny had filled with water earlier, and sprayed a gentle, cool shower over the laughing children. Penny hid her face in her hands, shaking her head. "I missed the chalk. I checked the whole house, and I missed the chalk." Leo laughed, wrapping his arm around her shoulders. He pulled her close against his chest. "Hey, it is okay. Look at her." Penny peeked through her fingers. Mia was sitting right on the pink elephant's back, giggling louder than anyone else while the animal slowly walked in a small circle around the yard. It was not eating the cake, and it was not running into the fence. It was just playing. "You know," Leo said softly, leaning down to rest his chin on Penny's head. "When I was modeling, I went to a lot of very fancy parties. But none of them had a pink elephant that sprayed water." Penny finally relaxed. She leaned back against her husband and smiled. The magic was messy, and it was always a surprise, but it also made them the coolest parents on the whole street. 2 hours later, Penny clapped her hands. "Cake time. Everyone come to the table." As soon as Mia heard the word cake, she completely forgot about the pink elephant. She hopped off its back and ran to the table. Because Mia was no longer thinking about it, the magic simply stopped. The elephant let out one last happy squeak before it melted into a soft pile of pink, sparkly chalk dust right on the concrete patio. The other parents clapped, thinking it was a fancy magic trick. Leo lit the 4 candles on the cake. Mia closed her eyes and blew them out. Penny kissed Leo, knowing that even without the magic chalk, she already had everything she could ever wish for.